Good evening, everyone. I hope everybody had a great extended weekend, and for those who celebrate Easter, happy Easter today. So, in this video tonight, it's going to be a free kind of call it a sample video for those who are not in Discord, just kind of see what we touch on more in Discord as well for those who may be interested. So, we're going to kind of go over some of the key economic events this week. Not going to dive super deep into those. I usually dive into those the night before, so I don't overload everybody in one huge post. We do have our watch list for tomorrow, and we do have some swing trade ideas as well, also. So, kind of going to touch on those and what I see with them as well. So, let's get started here. And I am kind of, it's either allergies or I'm getting over a cold, but please bear with me here. So, let's get started. So, we do have a busy week of economic releases again. Just some main ones to keep our eyes on. Obviously, we have wholesale inventories tomorrow, our consumer inflation expectations. Williams speaks aftermarket close tomorrow. Tuesday, we are looking at Harker and Kashkari speaking as well. Kashkari, obviously, a little later in the night. Harker, obviously, at close. And then Wednesday is our big day. So, Wednesday, we get CPI. So, obviously, for those following along, CPI is going to be is inflation. I mean, kind of leave it at that right there. It's our inflation. This goes. This touches back with the Fed and how they're raising rates and expecting cuts. Obviously, not going to dive too deep into that. Most anybody watching this video probably has a basic understanding of CPI and inflation. So, also on Wednesday, we do get our FOMC minutes too. So this is going to be a major report on where we're going to see or where these Fed members see the economy going, hikes, all that stuff. So Thursday we come on over to our PPI and our obviously weekly initial and continuing claims. But PPI, again, excuse me, PPI, this is the supply side of things. See how much supply it's costing to create these products, and again, higher prices for supply and creating products get passed on to customers. You know the deal there. And of course, we have our weekly initial and continuing claims as well. Friday is a big one also. We have our retail sales, and retail sales here are going to be very, very important for March. We're coming up on Q1 earnings coming out. We want to see how retail sales have been, and we can kind of maybe gauge it a little bit. Obviously, different companies are people have different demand. So, but if we see a decrease in retail sales here, and for the last, well, January, obviously, Christmas and all that, but we are seeing a decrease in these retail sales. It's not good for companies. And of course, our consumer sentiment. So, kind of just some key things to watch. And obviously, we have Fed speakers all throughout the week here. But let's touch on our watch list for tomorrow now. So we have PayPal calls, and let me actually pull up the flow here too for these. Let me hop back on here. So starting with the flow, obviously, PayPal here, you can see we have a lot of bullish flow here. This is looking for like a day trade to me, obviously. So a lot of 27 days expiration bullish flow here. Ask side calls on that 75. So something to keep your eyes on there. And then for Apple, obviously we have weekly expirations here on the 170 puts. And again, this obviously sticks out to me too. These are coming over a 3-day week, and you have 3 days of theta decay. So keep that in the back of your mind. So that's kind of the flow there for the 2 day trade ideas tomorrow. So I do want to touch on for a couple swing trade ideas. I have MU, Intel, Moderna and Walmart on here. So kind of want to show everybody what I'm seeing here. I'm not going to dive too deep into the day trade ones. Obviously, they're day trades. We're not swinging those. So let's start with MU here. So, and again, this is just a very, very brief sample. There's more that goes into this than just guessing. Well, I wouldn't say guessing, but than what I'm going to show everybody here. But just kind of a basic, I would say, just basic sample for those who kind of want to see what goes into some of this. Obviously, there's deeper dives, but this is if you're a beginner or anything, you can kind of see, oh, hey, this is what he's seen. This is going to help me. So, looking at MU first, you can see we had that big day on Thursday. I almost said Friday. And obviously, we have the dividend. But I'm so for MU, we are looking to short this. So, I would like to see this come up to that 62. And we did actually, coming over to MU here, did go up after hours. So I mean we're almost at that entry anyways, but didn't have any news on that actually after hours that gave us a pop. So still kind of watching that one just to see if we get something. I didn't see any major news come out, but keep it at that. So I do like this kind of 62 high, the more conservative, I would say 63.93 at the top. And again, I like going short on this. If you come over here, and again, there's a deeper dive than just this, but you look at MU's earnings slowly coming down, barely. I mean, it's a miss, big miss there, and they're still expecting declining earnings. And even you come down here, excuse me again, look at their quarterly net income dropping, profit margin dropping, even their annual. It's a little, I mean, it's still going up a little bit, but and again, this is data points. What is consumers are going to be spending less money for companies, kind of just some basic stuff, and this just kind of diving into all this stuff. I mean, you can see their balance sheet, their quarterly. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, nothing spectacular. I don't want to dive too deep into the financials here. Look at their cash flow. I mean, their cash flow's decreasing, financing's going up. Obviously, companies finance for different reasons and invest for different reasons. Obvious, just keep that in mind. It's not just this simple, but you can see they're expecting declining earnings. And excuse me again, you can you can see where we are on the chart. I am not going to be paying, so what were we, 61 for a share when we're missing earnings here and we're losing money on shares. That's one thing you have to keep in mind too. So you can see we're going to have declining earnings, or they're expecting declining earnings and have had misses. So that is why I'm looking to short MU there. And same reason for Intel. And MU and Intel, they're getting a lot of run up with this AI talk too. So I do like having time on these. I do like these June puts a little more. And for everyone in Discord, I will have the exact contracts and everything. But I do want to kind of give, for those on Twitter who may be interested in joining the Discord, just kind of what I'm seeing and all that. So moving on to Intel here. Same thing here. I mean, look at their earnings. Miss. Did hit on earnings there. Miss. And they're expecting a 16-cent loss per share here. That's, you're not going to be paying 33 a share when you are going to be missing, and I could buy shares down here at 27 and make, let's see what they hit on earnings there, 21 cents a share. So I mean, you have to keep that in mind. And just again, look at their income. Net income decreasing, profit margin decreasing, even their revenues decreasing, and on an annual basis as well too. That's not good. That's not good. And so moving on to Moderna here. Moderna is a little trickier here. This company moves a little faster too. It can have very big swings in a day. So I do, excuse me, one more time. It was allergies, and it was like 65 degrees here, and then it was just like 20 degrees last week. This does not help with allergies and all that. Don't know why I live here. But moving on here. So Moderna do have that gap up to this 170, 125 to fill, but we're stuck at this 150 and 200 moving average. Kind of looks like it's rejected it a little bit, but again, another thing with Moderna, this is kind of want to zoom back out here to show everyone. Why did we run up on Moderna? Ask yourself why, and there I am moving stuff on the chart. Why did we run up on Moderna? You're going to think, I mean, should be a very, very easy answer for those who know. Well, COVID, Moderna got all that money from the COVID vaccine. And now look, COVID has cooled off, obviously. And we are starting to see, once again, declining earnings. And then we are expecting a big miss here on, well, I wouldn't say a miss, a big drop in earnings here. And you are not going to be paying, what are we running? I think we're only running 7 times earnings here. Yeah. So, I mean, we're not, I would say we are overvalued here from what's to come. And again, even let's look at their quarter. I mean, their net income is decreasing, profit margin decreasing. This is not good. This is not good stuff. And again, you can go through all this and kind of dive through. I don't want to dive in super, super deep for everyone, but I mean, your operating cash flow is just decreasing to up a little bit there, but you got investing coming down as well too. So again, there's more than just those numbers. You need to dive in, see where money are they investing into new stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you dig into, but just a very brief example for everyone. So, but with this, I would like to see it just to be a little more conservative on the entry. That 171 would be a great spot. I would love that spot. I'm not really anticipating we'll get it, but I would maybe, I like this 167 spot too as a very aggressive entry, but again, watch how the market moves. We have a lot of data this week, which is not very good for swing trading, but we can adapt and go off that. So that's Moderna here. I mean, you can just clearly see their earnings are not going to be what they were at the time of COVID. And you come back here, 2018, I believe they IPO'd. But I mean, you're trading at $17, $20 a share. This is, and it's not saying that the company wasn't worth almost 500 a share at the time it was, but things change and conditions change. So, and you can see that here as well. And moving on to Walmart for our last swing trade idea. Again, Walmart is the same. Retail. Consumers are going to be spending less. Their credit cards are being maxed out. Inflation slowly coming down. Say keyword slowly coming down. But again, even with Walmart, they have consistently beat earnings, but again, they are expecting a decrease in earnings. A decrease in earnings are not good for companies. Shouldn't be very hard to explain that. And I mean, just kind of looking at this chart too, I mean, look where we are. We're almost back to about $8 from the all-time high on Walmart. And with consumers that are going to be strapped for cash and spending, I am not paying, what are we, 35 times earnings. So that's one part of the equation. And again, like I said, they look like their earnings are going to decrease. And with interest rates being up, consumers not spending enough. And this is where earlier in the video when I said retail sales, we want to see retail sales. If they're coming down, that's not good for these companies. So keep that in mind, and just kind of looking at their income statement here a little bit. I mean, their profit margin's slightly decreasing too. Income's coming down, or their net income, sorry. And then again, balance sheet, you got their liabilities starting to creep up, catch up to that, to their assets. Even quarterly basis, you can slowly see this too. Let me go back to the income here. And that quarterly basis, I mean, you can see we're all over the place, and then they had that miss there. But I mean, their revenue is increasing still, but their net income is slightly below, except for Q4 of 2022, which is expected with Christmas and the holidays and all that. But that is kind of just a brief video on what I'm seeing with these and why I'm looking at these as swing trade ideas. Obviously, if you want the exact entry points, Discord only for that, but I did want to show everybody who may be interested in joining Discord at some point kind of what I like to dive into a little bit more, because investing and trading is more than just lines on charts. Please always remember that. Always more than lines on charts. You need to dig into the details, and even this, just what I was showing everybody, that's not too much digging, to be honest, because you can, if you see them I mean, they can be financing for different reasons. They can be investing more for different reasons. So it just depends on where they're putting money, what the company's doing with their money, and all that stuff. And obviously, this is why I'll always say you need multiple data points as well too. So that is kind of all I have for everybody tonight. Look forward to more videos later this week and touching on the economic data. And I do expect a pickup in volatility too. Obviously, this week we have a lot of data coming out. It's not going to be like the last 2 weeks where it was just flat and almost, I would say, untradeable. But that is all I have for everybody tonight. Hope you all enjoyed your weekend, and again, look for updates in the morning. Have a great night, everyone.